Hey everyone, I want to talk this week a little bit about finding a prayer spot. Now, I've heard a few people talk about this, and this is my personal take on it. Now, as I approach this, I want to be very careful about it because I don't want people to get off into doing like a religious act. Let's make it very clear that when it comes to prayer, you can pray anywhere, at any place, at any time. Okay? But we do see the example in Scripture that Jesus withdrew to a quiet place to pray. Now, if you look at the ministry of Jesus, it was full on. He had the stresses, he had the crowds following him. It was just full on. He knew and understood the value of what it means to withdraw, get yourself quiet, and pray, because you need to be able to hear from God, and the only way that you can hear from God is when you are at peace. You know that the enemy, we're talking about Satan here, he wants to steal your joy, but also he wants to steal your peace. Now, if he can get you to a point where you haven't got peace in your life, there is literally, I would like to say, impossible to hear from God. When you're not at peace, it hinders your prayer life. It hinders your ability to have a great quiet time with God. It hinders a lot of things. And we live in a world today that is so full of stresses and commitments and schedules, and everything is out there trying to compete and steal your time and your joy and your peace. So we need to get to a point where we quieten ourselves, our mind, our emotions. We need to get them to settle down. And one of the easiest ways of going about doing this is how you start your day, or even how you end your day for the next day. And one of the ways I like to do it is find a prayer spot. Okay, so what can be a good prayer spot? Well, really, it's up to you. It can be anything that you like. Now, I love my beautiful gardens, so that I'm sitting in at the moment, and many thanks to my wife, Michelle, for the awesome work that she's done on our gardens in our house. That's what I like. For you, it might be, if you're close enough, taking walks down the beach. It could be going for a walk in a park. It may be perhaps sitting in your favourite chair. Now, that's something I like to do as well. When I get up in the morning, I make myself a cup of coffee and then go sit in my favourite chair, and I have some quiet time with God. It's whatever works for you. Now, you might be saying, but you don't understand my situation. I'm busy. I've got kids, all that kind of thing. Look, I understand. I understand. I've got kids. Another suggestion would be, at night time when the kids are asleep, turn the lights down, put on some candlelight. So even if your room's messy, just turn the candles on. Anything looks good with candlelight. That's free of charge, trust me, okay? But whatever works for you, whatever you can do to just quieten yourself down, because it's when you are settled, when you are at peace, that is when you can hear from God. Jesus said, "My peace I leave with you." Now, that's very interesting because he's already left it with us. In other words, all we've got to do is walk in it. How do we walk in it? By getting ourselves to a place, and sometimes it takes a bit of effort to do it, get ourselves to a place where we can settle down. So, challenge for you, find yourself a good prayer spot. Thank you so much for taking the time to come to this channel, and if you haven't already, take the time to hit the subscribe button down below. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook. Have yourself a great week.